Hi, I'm Ted Baum from TruLog Siding, and we've had a lot of questions about how to install an inside corner and an elevation change coming around the house, going up over a deck or a front porch. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. First thing you want to do is take your J-channel, cut it to the height from your deck to your soffit. Once you have the length, you want to flare the J-channel so it fits nice and tight into the corner. Once you have that, you'll put it down on top of your deck or your porch, and you want to put it tight to your other J-channel that you previously put in that corner for the other wall. I use screws to mount things in case something has to be moved. It's easy to do. Okay, now that we have our inside corner done, I'm going to show you how to do the elevation change. And we'll start here where the starter is, and we're going to transfer up to the deck or whatever, front porch, whatever you're going over. So the first thing you want to do is measure from the hook of the starter to the top of the deck, and we have 6 and about 13/16, and we want to add a 1/2 inch for this J that comes this way. I'm going to take my speed square, mark it all the way around. Then you take your snips, cut the face, cut the back, then you can bend it, and that helps you cut a straight line with your snips. Once you have that, you want to cut for the face of this J coming through. So I'll just mark the back, or you can mark a 1/2 inch. You want to cut this little piece out. Once that's out, you want to flare it again like we did the inside corner. Slide that behind your starter till you're flush, and then attach it with a screw. Now that we have that, we want to do across the deck. To do that one, you want to slide it into the corner to where it's tight. Once you have it in there, then you can mark. That gives you your point where you have to cut. You pull this one out, mark that, and now you want to add 1 inch, and I'll show you why. And you want to cut that off square. So you'll cut your back, you cut the front, bend it, and then cut the whole piece off. Now we have this 1 inch we want to slit here and here so we can fold that down into the existing J-channel. And you'll go cut just right there in the corner on the front and the back. Then cut a little sliver out. Makes it easier to install that flap. Be careful you don't cut yourself. Now with that cut out, you're going to take this, put it back in the corner. Once it's in there, now this goes down over the side J. Fold this flap down so the water just flows right through. And then we'll put a screw in it. Once you have that, you want to take a pair of pliers, grab a hold of this tab that's a 1/2 inch longer, and you want to roll that around the vertical piece, and then you flatten it out. That keeps everything nice and tight, and you don't have a cut edge to cut your finger or get hooked on. Once you have that done, last thing to do is put a little bit of silicone in the corner so water can't get behind that, in behind the inside corner. Then if everything is done right, you'll take your Tyvek tape and you'll seal this off so no water can get behind it and rot your deck out. So when the water runs down, it runs into the J-channel, runs to the end, and runs to the ground. Now that we have that done, we're going to cut our siding. So to do that, I'm going to stick my tape into the inside corner. measure to the deck here. I have 47 inches. So I'll drop down here on my siding and I'll mark 47 inches. Then I want to measure from the lock of my starter to the top of that J channel. So I'll hook on and I'll measure up, and I have 7 inches, and then I'll have to add 3/8 because we want to need to drop it down and hook it back up. So it'll be 7 3/8. So now we know our height. I'll estimate where it is here. Come up here, 7 3/8. Then I can flatten my panel out to get my speed square on here. Mark that, and mark this. A little trick I've done over the years, you can just mark it and just guide it down with your finger. So we'll be cutting this piece out right here. So now, grab your panel and your left-handed snips, cut your bottom lock, cut your bottom, and then cut along the line. Once you have that, then you can turn it and cut down this line. Remove this piece. Now we have a raw edge here that we want to cover with our sill trim. So if you take your sill trim, you'll notice that this back is wider than this area here because of our chink line, so it won't fit. So I need to cut this back off, this part here. So I'll turn it around, take my snips, and I'll just cut that off. Now that we have that cut off, we're going to put this sill trim over our cut piece of siding to give it a finished look. Okay, now that we have this cut and our sill trim on, we're going to put it in place. To do so, you want to get it lined up in your inside corner, and you're going to drop this down behind this J channel. Once it's in, then you're just going to lock it in place and put a screw in. Okay, now that we have this piece in, now we can continue with the siding up the wall. Now that we have that done, we can continue up. But right now I'm going to go do this side over here with the elevation change there. We're going to measure here. We're 3 1/8. And measure up. We're at 7 1/4. We'll continue the siding up. That's how you do an inside corner and elevation change with the TruLog siding.